Anger is an emotion that every human being experiences at some point in life. It is a fundamental part of our psychological makeup, serving as a response to perceived threats, injustices, or frustrations. The way anger manifests varies from person to person and across different cultures and situations. Some individuals react with immediate outbursts, while others suppress their anger, letting it simmer into resentment. Some view anger as a necessary tool for asserting boundaries and defending themselves, while others see it as a destructive force that should be tamed or eliminated. In this exploration, we will delve into the complexities of anger, examining its manifestations, dangers, and methods of management through the lenses of Stoic and Buddhist philosophies. Despite anger being a natural human emotion, its consequences can be severe. If left unchecked, anger can destroy relationships, fuel conflicts, and even lead to violence. On a larger scale, collective anger can incite wars, genocides, and other atrocities. However, some people justify anger by labeling it as righteous anger, believing that when one is wronged, anger is a reasonable and even necessary reaction. Others argue that anger provides motivation and energy to achieve goals. But are these justifications valid? And how can we effectively manage anger to ensure that it serves us rather than controls us? The many faces of anger. Anger is not a monolithic emotion. It comes in various forms and intensities. Psychologists and philosophers have categorized anger into different types. Rage, an intense explosive outburst that often leads to immediate and regrettable consequences. Resentment, a long-term simmering anger that stems from past grievances and perceived injustices. Bitterness, a deep-seated lingering anger that affects a person's outlook on life. Harshness, a form of anger that manifests in rude, critical, or dismissive behavior. Cold anger, internalized and suppressed anger that can lead to emotional distress and even physical health issues. Tibetan Buddhist monk Geshe Yongdong distinguishes between two main types of anger. Number 1. Hot anger. This type of anger is explosive and immediately visible. It can manifest in yelling, physical aggression, or destructive actions. Hot anger is like a fire that burns everything in its path, including the person experiencing it. Number 2. Cold anger. This is the kind of anger that is repressed and carried for years. It doesn't result in immediate explosions, but it eats away at a person from the inside, leading to stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments like high blood pressure and heart disease. The dangers of anger. The consequences of unchecked anger are well documented. Anger has led to ruined relationships, broken families, workplace conflicts, and even large-scale violence. If we look at history, we see countless examples of how anger has fueled destruction. The Holocaust was fueled by deeply ingrained resentment and hatred. Wars throughout history have often been the result of nations or groups acting on their anger. Many violent crimes occur in moments of uncontrollable rage. Beyond these extreme examples, anger also has negative effects on our personal lives. When we act out in anger, we often say and do things we later regret. It clouds our judgment, leading us to make impulsive decisions. Moreover, anger can harm our health. Studies show that chronic anger increases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, leading to cardiovascular problems, weakened immune function, and mental health disorders like anxiety and depression. Stoic and Buddhist perspectives on anger. The Stoics and Buddhists both regarded anger as a harmful emotion, though they approached it in slightly different ways. The Stoics, represented by philosophers such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, emphasized rational control over emotions. They believed that anger is irrational and self-destructive. Seneca, one of the most vocal critics of anger, likened it to madness. He wrote, "For it is equally devoid of self-control, regardless of decorum, forgetful of kinship, obstinately engrossed in whatever it begins to do, deaf to reason and advice, excited by trifling causes, awkward at perceiving what is true and just, and very like a falling rock which breaks itself to pieces upon the very thing which it crushes." According to the Stoics, anger distorts our ability to reason. They argued that it is possible to take decisive action and defend oneself without the need for anger. A wise person, they believed, should never allow emotions to override reason. Buddhism also discourages anger, viewing it as one of the three poisons alongside ignorance and attachment that lead to suffering. Buddhist teachings encourage mindfulness, patience, and compassion as antidotes to anger. A well-known Buddhist parable illustrates the futility of anger. A young boy with a bad temper was given a bag of nails and a hammer by his father. He was instructed to hammer a nail into the fence every time he lost his temper. On the first day, he hammered 30 nails. Over time, as he learned to control his temper, the number decreased. Eventually, he reached a day when he didn't need to hammer a single nail. His father then told him to remove a nail each time he successfully resisted his anger. When all the nails were gone, his father showed him the fence and said, "You have done well, but look at the holes. The fence has been changed forever. When you act out of anger, it leaves scars that cannot be undone." How to manage anger. Both Stoicism and Buddhism offer valuable techniques to manage anger. Here are some strategies. Number 1. Recognize anger in its early stages. As Seneca advised, it is best to address anger while it is still small. By becoming aware of irritation before it escalates, we can prevent an emotional explosion. Number 2. Use reason to counter anger. When you feel anger rising, ask yourself, is this response rational? Will it benefit me in the long run? Often, reasoning through a situation helps diffuse anger. Number 3. Practice mindfulness and meditation. Buddhist teachings emphasize mindfulness, which involves observing emotions without becoming attached to them. Meditation helps create space between our emotions and reactions. Number 4. Develop patience. Anger often stems from impatience. By cultivating patience, we can reduce our susceptibility to anger. The Buddhist doctrine of impermanence teaches that all things, including emotions, are temporary. The situation making us angry today will likely be insignificant in the future. Number 5. Practice forgiveness. Holding on to grudges only harms ourselves. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control how others behave, only our response. Forgiving others allows us to release the burden of resentment. Number 6. Channel anger productively. While uncontrolled anger is destructive, anger can be redirected into positive action. Many social movements have been driven by justified outrage but executed through strategic and rational means rather than uncontrolled fury. Number 7. Take a break. The common advice to count to 10 when angry is grounded in wisdom. Taking a pause before reacting allows our rational mind to catch up with our emotions. Anger is a powerful and natural emotion, but it is also a double-edged sword. When mismanaged, it leads to destruction. When controlled, it can be channeled toward positive action. The Stoic and Buddhist perspectives remind us that we are not slaves to our emotions. We have the ability to regulate our anger through reason, patience, and mindfulness. By applying these principles in our daily lives, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and make more rational, beneficial decisions.